All right, Zico wants to chat. Bro, I just went to twitch.tv/ZNN. Whoops.
Yo, what up? What up? Czar, welcome to ZNN. Welcome back. How are you feeling today?
Bro, I feel pretty darn good. I spent the weekend touching grass, playing with my son, eating some good food, lifting weights, and I even had my first massage this weekend. I got an HOJ to drop, and the druid in my group said he'd only pass if I get a massage, so we booked a massage, and yeah, it's been pretty good. How have you been, Z?
Oh, I've been doing good, man. You know, I've been doing my thing. One sec, I have double audio. One sec. Yeah, I've been doing fine, man. It's been, you know, a little bit of gaming. I went out. I got a coffee today. Ooh. From the local coffee place, and I procced a free coffee, by the way. I keep procking free coffees. I don't know why. But you know, when something is free, it tastes a lot better. I didn't get any massages though. There is a place nearby. I'm thinking about checking it out maybe. Other than that, you know, business as usual. Just doing just chatting. I'm basically just a just chatting Andy at this point. So yeah, it's been good.
Bro, I love it. Yeah, the just chatting angle is super lit. I love this overview. Breaking news, interview with Xaryu. This is great. I love it.
Yeah, we're upgrading the studio. You know, it's a one-man operation. Sometimes Sunglitters comes in and does her thing. Maybe she'll pop in later. But yeah, so I mean, I just want to cut right to business. You are the blind samurai. You've gotten yourself pretty stacked up. You've gotten you know, into OnlyFans raid. You were the first pick in Tonka T's raid. Now, I want to talk to you about the actual raid. I want to talk to you about the incident. And I want to give you, of course, a chance as well to give your kind of side of the coin. I feel like you've been getting some flack. I interviewed some people yesterday. I talked to Sunglitty. I talked to Quinn. And yeah, they said some things about your performance in particular. I think personally, I think it was. Let's talk about the call first. The call to stay in from Tonka T on Baron Geddon. What do you think about that?
I'll answer your question in 1 second. I moved my camera so it messed up your overlay. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'm fixing it up.
Okay, my bad on that. I moved it to the bottom right because I just have your stream up. I think the call from Tonka T could have been a really good call if it was a couple seconds like sooner, and we all just kind of stayed in and killed the boss. I think no one would have died, and it's kind of sad the way it happened because, you know, everyone is out and he says to go in, and it was heartbreaking. I honestly, man, like what's the term, like survivor's guilt? You know, like yeah. I feel just really bad. I was playing with Tyler, and it's like he's a cool dude. We were talking about our kids, and I was playing with Peekaboo, and it was like really fun time. And I leveled to 60 so late that I wanted to like play with everyone, and I finally got the opportunity to. And now Tyler's quitting because he's not gonna go again. So it just makes me feel sad, man. It sucks. So
yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like losing Tyler is definitely a big blow. Like. It wasn't just like, you know, he's a big streamer, but it's also, I feel like he genuinely cared about the guild. He genuinely like wanted to get everybody into the raid. He genuinely, you know, put a lot of effort into it. And he seemed like he really enjoyed WoW. So losing him definitely sucked in that regard. And also, I feel like he brought a lot of hype, you know, like just being around Tyler made you like, oh, let's fucking go, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like losing that vibe is also like a big blow to the guild as a whole. Do you think the guild will recover though?
I think Soda needs to survive for sure. I think Soda needs to live. I think Pika needs another ult. I would love to see Tyler go again, but I totally get it. Like he's put in a lot of time into WoW. Like starting from 1, like, you know, yeah, it's tough. But yeah, I think the guild has been so much fun, and I honestly can't believe it's been what, 3 months now, 4? Like it's been such a fun experience for so many months, and honestly I'm already looking forward to next year. I'm looking forward to if we can make it to BWL, but I guess I'm just more like excited how long it's really lasted. Last year, we only got to play for like 30 days, it felt like, before everyone just quit. So, and this year it's been months, and it's just been really fun. It's been cool.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think, like you said, losing Soda is it's gonna be tough if we end up losing Soda. So I hope that doesn't happen. He did survive the Mizkif raid. What did you think about the Mizkif raid in general? Like, did you expect it to go better? Do you expect it to go worse? What do you think about that raid?
So, I haven't seen the entire thing. I had it up on my phone like when I could here and there. I heard Quinn died to the mind control off the first boss, which is like, I can't believe that. Like, bro, I don't know. Yeah, Whirlwind. I didn't watch the explanation of the fight. I don't know if the MC was talked about with like no AoE and stuff, but it was not talked about. So that sucks. And then the Baron Geddon bombs. I mean, I think the Baron Geddon bombs, dude. So I've been playing hardcore for like over 2 years now, I think, and I do death. I watch death clips like every day, pretty much. And Baron Geddon bombs are just such a popular way for people to die, right? If Baron Geddon's tanked in the wrong spot, or people forget about that bomb, and it explodes, like people can just die. And that's why all the small details matter on that boss. And yeah, it's like the boss died and the bomb forgot to get out and just blew everyone up because the boss was dead. People forgot about it. And like, yeah, those deaths suck too. But I'm going to be honest, I expected more deaths in Mrs. Raid, so I got to still say pretty much a W.
Yeah, I thought for sure it was going to be more chaos, but I think Miz, honestly, he did a better job with the draft in terms of bringing good tanks. He didn't have like, I don't know, like some people, I don't know. I think he has a Roach emote, not a lot of experience with tanking. Usually just doesn't sunder. I think as a warrior player, how important do you think it is to sunder as the tank? Because he brought in somebody with, I think, 0 sunders last raid as one of his main tanks.
Yeah, if you're a tank, I'd say you've got to sunder. I would still be wary of like over sundering. That's never something you want to look into. But yeah, as a DPS player, I would say it's just definitely not their job. And yeah, it's pretty much that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think Miz, he drafted really well, and I think that carried his raid a lot. What did you think about Miz's raid leading ability? I personally was actually very surprised with how much he knew. I feel like he did a decent job, kind of explaining what to do and taking his time with the pulse. There was no like sketchy trash mobs. And I thought in general he did pretty good with the raid leading, considering he was also from an internet cafe in like Japan with no add-ons. What did you think about Miz's raid lead?
Like I said, I didn't get to watch like the raid in its entirety just because I was like AFK IRL. But from what I saw, yeah, I was pretty impressed. Like I said, I thought way more people would die. I thought in Miz's raid there would be just like something really tragic would happen and a bunch of people would die on like a double triple pull. You can't Petri out, and then it's just like tons of people dying left and right, and that didn't happen. So I've got to say I'm pretty impressed that it was only 3. So Soda's raid there was 6, Tonka's raid there was 7, and
yep,
and Miz's raid there was 3. So I guess Miz is better than Tyler 1 and Soda at WoW. So I guess that's how it works.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, that is how that works. Now, on the topic of deaths, like the guild has been seeing a lot of deaths. Even today, like in leveling, we saw level 55 die. Ari died. We saw also Foxy Llama died at like level 56. And who else? A famous Ivan, level 60 druid who was drafted for Grayson's raid. One of the 3 druids there did die in LBRS as well. So there's been a lot of deaths in the guild. And I think a result of that is now that they're allowing mob tagging. What do you think about that topic? Like mob tagging in the guild, is that going to be overall a net positive or a net negative for the guild?
That is a good question. So we were just talking about this right before this ZNN interview. And basically, I think one of the reasons this year is so much better than last year is because last year it kind of got ruined with mob tagging. Like last year, everyone kind of skipped the whole gameplay of playing World of Warcraft and just got boosted to max. I think this year we have 3 months of like really fun gameplay because there's no handouts allowed. There's no auction house allowed. There's no mob tagging allowed. So people are actually getting into playing World of Warcraft, which just takes a lot more time. And I think we've seen a lot of positives and longevity to it. Having said that, we're at like late stage OnlyFans where when people are dying now, they're not really going again. And this might be a hot take, but I think the reason Soda is allowing mob tagging is mainly for one reason. If Soda himself dies, he wants to be able to mob tag back to save the guild.
Ooh.
And if he doesn't allow mob tagging now and only allows it for himself when he dies, then it's going to look like he's a hypocrite and like, oh, I'm just going to break the rule because I'm the guild leader. But if he dies, I think he'll be able to mob tag back in a few days and keep the guild running. So I think with that perspective, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, that is a pretty hot take. So wait, I got to ask you immediate follow-up on that. Do you think that Soda is going again if he dies somehow?
With mob tagging, yes. Without mob tagging, he'd be done.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I think that he probably is thinking ahead and thinking that this is probably the best way to keep the guild alive at this point.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, the counterpoint to like mob tagging in general being allowed is that I think we're losing people faster than people can level up. And I think a lot of people are kind of feeling, kind of like you said, you know, if there's no mob tagging, they're probably just not going to go again. So it's like the lesser of two evils. Like, do you just lose all players and then eventually the guild dies because there's not enough players? Or do you just allow mob tagging? And I think that at this point, maybe it is the right call to just allow it. But it's interesting that you think Soda will go again, because a lot of the people that I talk to thinks that Soda is kind of just done if he dies.
I think if there was no mob tagging and he died, I think he'd be like, all right, screw it. We had a good run. Let's do OnlyFans next year, or I guess late 2025. Give it like a 6 to 10 month break. Let everyone kind of do their variety in other games and like run it back. Mm-hmm. But I think with mob tagging, he would at least mob tag another character and try BWL. And then if he died again after that, then it's like if he died in BWL, it's like, okay, we had a really good run. Now let's wait till next year. So
yeah, okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. I hope you're right about that. I do hope that he goes again, because at this point he's the backbone of the guild. Like, yeah, if we lose Soda, it's we're in bad shape. So I do hope that he still kind of feels that passion and he still wants to keep things going. Because like you said, you know, I've been enjoying it a lot as well. It's been going on for a lot longer than I thought it would. So having Soda is without Soda, this entire thing doesn't exist. So he's done a great job with that as well. I wanted to ask you about a little bit more spicy question, maybe about the Baron thing. So some people, as you're probably aware of, have been saying that the sweats have been kind of to blame for Tonka dying. My name has come up. Your name has come up. Other people, like I think there's this one noob rogue who doesn't do any damage. I think
PS Hero, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just by the brief description.
Pirate Software Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Pirate Software Hero. Do you think PS actually stands for Pirate Software Hero, or do you think it's like something else?
Oh, that's an interesting correlation. I never thought of that. I'd have to think about it more, but briefly after putting everything together, it would make more sense that it does. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think you could be right about that. So what do you think? Like, is the sweats to blame here? And what do you think about your own kind of perspective when that Baron call went out? Obviously, it was a late call. It was a call that came out in the third tick of the Inferno. Now, typically, a raid leader would call out a mechanic like that before it even happens, and kind of give everyone a heads up. Next time it happens, we're all staying in and we're gonna finish the boss. But it kind of just happened in the spur of the moment, like kind of reactionary. With that in mind, do you think that you roached out?
Man, that is a question. So right when the boss died, I wasn't thinking anything about roaching at all. I was just like, holy crap, what just happened? And from my perspective, I was like, just getting out on the mechanic. And then when he said finish finish Baron, or what did Tyler say? Like finish him. I wasn't thinking
like, finish it, don't stay in.
Yeah, I think he said like finish him, and I took that as like, you know, everyone's already out. Like finish it means, you know, casters kill him at 1% in like 1 more second. So then after he says get back in, I was like maybe a little confused, and I was like, I mean, if we go in, we're gonna die. It's like by the time he said get in, I think it was like 4th, 5th tick. I know how the boss works. So I was like, oh no. And then later I watched the Tyler video back, and he said he didn't know that the damage increased. And I was like, oh, this is starting to add up here. And then I was talking to Peekaboo, and I talked to Peekaboo. I was like, why did you run in? And he's like, I didn't know the damage increased. And I was like, oh, this is starting to really add up here. And then I looked at Ampy's POV, because I'm like, Ampy knows what he's doing. Why did Ampy go in? And I watched Ampy's POV, and I was like, oh, he was spamming shield wall, but he didn't get it off. And I was like, okay, so Ampy knew what he was doing, but he tried to shield wall the damage, but did it too late. Peekaboo didn't know the mechanic. Tyler didn't know the mechanic. So I was like, oh, is this starting to all add up? And then I went back, because I had a lot of survivor's guilt. I was just like, oh no, like what should I have done? Like the number one thing that usually I think about is like, what could I have done differently, right? So I was like, should I have just gone in? So I went back and looked at Peekaboo's POV, and I was like, how much damage did Peekaboo do? Because I could have done exactly what Pika did. Maybe I would have saved the raid. I went back and watched Pika's POV, and Pika got in precisely 0 damage before he died. 0. He died before hitting the boss. And then I went back and I was like, well, maybe it was just Peekaboo being a noob, because that's, you know, that happens. And I went and looked at Ampy's POV. I was like, how much damage did Ampy get off before dying? Because Ampy intercepted. Peekaboo just ran in. So I was like, what if I intercepted like Ampy? And Ampy got in 200 damage before he died. And I was like, crap, would the extra 200 damage would have saved anyone? No, that wouldn't have. So then I looked at Hubert's POV. And I was like, what if I did what Hubert did? Because I think those are the only 3 that went in. Hubert, Ampy, and Pika. And I was like, what if I did what Hubert did? I've thought about it a lot, and I was like, how much damage did Hubert do? And Hubert did 100. So I said on the absolute best case scenario, if I went back in, I would have done anywhere between 0 to 200 damage, probably, and I would have been dead. Would have changed any outcome. And I was like, okay, so I did make the right call, I think, in retrospect, but it still really sucks. I still feel like crappy that my friends died. I still wanted to play more with Tyler. I still wanted to play more with Pika. And yeah, and then I looked at every other Melee's POV to see if you know, I could have done anything different. And Sony ran out further than I did. PSU ran out right next to me. The rest of the raid also ran out. So I think the only 3 that went in were the 3 that we talked about. And I looked at them like really analytically, trying to see what if I did what they did. Would people still be alive? And I guess the answer is no. So,
that's interesting. I never actually went back and watched all of their POVs like that to see how much damage they actually were able to get off. And obviously, if you try to do what Ampy did, I mean, you're a samurai, you can't even shield wall. So that's a good perspective to keep in mind. So I personally think that calling it on 10% when the mechanic started, that we should stay in. If everyone knew beforehand, then it's the right call to stay in, and we finish it with no deaths. But with how the call was made, I think it's extremely difficult to stay in there. And I also think, actually, this is a better question for you. What do you think would have happened if we just didn't stay in at all and we just all ran out, and then we waited for the mechanic and then we went back in? Do you think that would have resulted in deaths?
No, I think everyone would have lived. If we all ran out, everyone lives. If we all stayed in, everyone lives too. But what you can't do is have this thing where half of the people kind of run and then half kind of stay in, and there's like mass confusion, and like the call was like after everyone left, and then like everyone like kind of half comes in and half goes out, and like I think that was like the only thing not to do. It's like if we all could have stayed in, it would have died, and if we all would have ran, it would have been fine too. Yeah.
So the raid had to just be like a concise unit. And I think ultimately that falls on the raid leader to make those decisive calls and make sure that everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. Do you think that
in Tyler's defense, I think he did a great job raid leading. It was so fun to play with him. Yeah, he's only been playing WoW a month, and if anyone wants to be in his shoes raid leading Molten Core after a month, like it's not easy shoes to fill. And oh man, you almost died there.
I'm fine. I'm chilling.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to put all of this on one person ever, because it's always a group effort. It's a group of people playing, and I think at the end of the day, like any small things, you know, could have happened differently. So I think at the end of the day, I wanted to ask you about that. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think if the call was made before the mechanic happened, so maybe just a couple seconds, like, hey guys, we are staying in on this final Inferno because the boss is low, we're gonna burn it, I think everyone would have lived. I really do. Yeah, I think the boss would have just died.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And that's what I wanted to ask you as a kind of a next thing was, what do you think about Tyler's raid leading? Up until that point, obviously, he raid led a clean Onyxia on his second ever Onyxia kill. And there was no deaths prior to that big kind of wipe. So what do you think of his ability up until that point?
I was like thinking we are going to clear Molten Core with 0 people dying. I just said right before the poll, I was like, bro, Tyler is such a beast. He is not going to let anyone die. I have full confidence. There is no way anyone dies in this. Like, Onyxia was clean. We killed all these bosses like so easily. Our DPS was so high. I was just like, dude, we are good. Tyler's got us. Like, he's like, what I like about Tyler is he's like an authentic, like, he authentically like tries his absolute hardest, and he wants to. He's a gamer. He wants to like put his all into something. He's not going to hold back, right? And yeah, I was definitely thinking that we were going to go deathless on it. So it's definitely a shock.
Do you think there was a bit of overconfidence maybe happening?
Yeah.
Because it was so clean?
Yeah, maybe. Like if things were a bit shakier, maybe it would have been different. Like our raid was strong that day. Like we like the bosses were just getting smoked. Our DPS was high. Everything felt good. I think it's always a bit of a shocker when you get to low HP and hardcore. It's like, whoa, my character can just die. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Before we move on from that topic, what do you think about the bomb? So there's been a lot of debate about Maui Wowie with the bomb. Do you think he made the right call going into that little corridor and blowing up the raid?
I think Maui played great. I think he had a really tough split decision to make, right? So do you go into the Inferno and go into the normal corner, but the normal corner guarantees that you die because after you have nowhere to go, your healers aren't there, and then the Inferno's right there. Or do you go into a new corner and you hope that everyone kind of avoids you? And it was a super fast split decision from Maui, and I think he made the right call. I think if he went out, he would have died. And I think by him going in, what I did as a DPS player, I looked for who had the bomb, which was Maui. I saw that he was in the corner, and I avoided him, and that was it. So just the awareness of who has the bomb. Let's get away from the bomb. That's really at the end of the day what matters. And I think Maui did his best to go into the corner. Now, if Maui would have ran in the middle of everyone and blew up half the raid, I would be like, brother, you griefed us all. you griefed us all. But he didn't, right? He tried his best to do what he could in a split moment decision, and I wouldn't put any blame on the Maui at all. No, I think he did well.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that you can nitpick on something, like everybody could have done something differently, right? Like everybody could have played it a bit differently.
Absolutely.
And it would have all turned out differently. But I think, it was a tough situation to be in. Tough raid in general. What do you think about the Grayson raid happening today? Have you looked at the lineup at all? Have you seen what's going on there?
Well, it's a Grayson-led raid, so my immediate knee-jerk reaction is everyone is dead, for sure. But I looked at the roster, And apparently there's like 30 plus sweats in the raid. Like no cap, like the full raid is just people that have done it 100 times. So I think I'm changing my opinion a little bit. Like Grayson is still a noob, and like Grayson will still die for sure. Yeah. But I think Grayson might be the only death. I think everyone else knows what they're doing and will be able to carry it without a raid lead. So I think it'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Fuck Grayson, by the way. I think the raid looks pretty solid. Their comp looks a bit terrible. They have like, what, 6 hunters, I think, on the roster, which is not ideal.
Yeah, it's a little wild.
But I think they have the minimum requirements in terms of like warlocks. I think they have 3 shamans. So I think they're fine on those things. I think they have enough like dispels. They have barely enough healers. I think, though, if there is an Onyxia wipe, I think that raid just gets called. Like, I don't think there's enough people left on the bench. How do you feel about some people referring to Grayson's raid as Meal Team 6? Do you think that's a accurate representation of the members in that raid?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the third stringers. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. In terms of the actual strength, there's so many sweats that like it looks like this raid could just be real smooth. Grayson leading obviously is makes it a lot harder.
Debuff.
Yeah, huge debuff. But yeah, besides that, I think they're looking good. They got Cyber in there, Dakota, like Deej, like Sea-Doo. I mean, gamers. Literal BlizzCon champions in there. I think they're gonna be just fine. Yeah. Okay. But one of the things I was worried about was if we split our guild into too many raids and each raid has like 3 or 4 or 5 deaths, and we do this every week, like eventually we're gonna have no one to raid with. So I was thinking, like, is 3 raids like a good idea in the long term, or should it more be like 1 and with a big bench so that when people die, we don't just die as a guild? First, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I hear you on that. Yeah, I'm a little worried too that we might be spreading ourselves too thin, but at the same time, it sucks for the people who haven't been picked yet, right?
That's fair,
like, there's 2 weeks of raids and you just didn't get picked either week. Like, at some point, I think the resentment starts to build up.
Yeah.
With that said, though, do you think that getting picked for the raid is as big of a deal as some people make it out to be? Because, like, I'm not gonna lie, from a content standpoint, I had more viewers. I think I had double the viewership actually. Hate watching compared to actually raiding.
That's wild. What? Good for you, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. It like almost nods to a bigger question. It's like what type of content people like in 2025? Because I've found a similar thing with my stream where I'll have more viewers doing reacts than I do gameplay, which makes sense. That it's like, okay, well, I'll spend more time on reacts if that's what people want to see. Like, I'm going to give people what they want. And, obviously we see that with like Asmongold to a much larger degree. And I think like, yeah, you bring up a good point. It's like watching it is almost better than doing it itself. So I think you can make content out of anything, right? So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yesterday I literally had a notepad open that I was just typing in like random names in for the ZNN awards. Highest production quality award show, by the way, on the internet. And yeah, I mean, the viewership compared to like when I'm actually playing the game versus when I'm doing stupid shit like that, or like roster predictions or things like that, you can definitely see like the difference. So
I wouldn't call it stupid, bro. You have to give yourself some credit. Like you have a really cool thing going. You're covering everything. People want to see what's happening in Azeroth, and they can come to your channel, and you have it all laid out clearly for people to see it, to like digest it. Like, it's really cool. So I wouldn't sell yourself short.
That.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, ZNN is the top news station currently in Azeroth. So yeah, ZNN's in the chat, boys. But I do want to ask you about streaming in general, because you're somebody who's been streaming for a long time. When did you start streaming, actually? It was like back in MOP, right? Like 2012 or something like that? 2013?
2012, yeah. So we're going on 13 years.
Damn.
I mean, yes. I mean, you were even 2010, right? 2011, 2010. So
Yeah, 2010 was my first streaming year.
that's wild, bro. It's been a minute.
Yeah, but I mean, you've gone from somebody who was much like me, like arena sweat, farming rank ones, farming noobs in arena, like Peekaboo, like PS Hero, to eventually, transitioning more to, I would say, like you've been doing more variety. I remember I saw you doing like Dark and Darker and like Plunderstorm and things like that. How has that transition been for you? Did you ever expect that to happen? Like when you started out, in 2012?
I mean, I think it's something I've wanted to do for a really long time, but yeah, it kind of just worked out when it did. But I mean, here's the thing, Zico, like you can only carry people for so long, right? Like I'm sure you're familiar with PS Hero, but like how many times can I carry Peekaboo to rank 1? Like my back is sore. I'm tired. It hurts. Like bro, we've played together for so many years. I'm 31. Like I'm getting older. I can't just carry this burden for the rest of my life. I knew something had to change, or else like my back is literally just gonna give out. I'm gonna fall on the floor, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna make that change now. Then I'm gonna try, and instead of just carrying Peekaboo every single season, I'm gonna do something a little bit different and kind of branch out. And people seem to really enjoy that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, massages are expensive too. Like, let's not undersell that as well. Like, you can't be getting massages every single day for your back. So I hear you on that. Like, you got to start thinking about your health too. Especially when the people that we are carrying are so damn heavy. I mean, I don't know if you saw PS Hero's DPS, but like that's pretty much what I've been working with in arena. So it's been
that's tough.
I feel like instead of saying I'm queuing arena with PS, I'm just doing a deadlift like workout stream. So yeah, I definitely feel you on that. But that's cool. It's cool that you've been successfully kind of managed to transition to that. Because I do feel like a lot of people nowadays tune in for your personality. They know kind of what to expect in terms of like content. You always have like a good vibe, a wholesome vibe. And it's been working out for you. So I'm super happy to see kind of the success that you've been able to have with streaming in general. So that's we both started out kind of in the same place, and you've definitely taken it to the next level. So good for you, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it a lot. Man, it's been a crazy ride. I think I've had the same realization you have, that being a sweat is really fun, and it's really exciting. But I think, I don't know, as I get older, it's fun to do things more just casually and play for fun. Whoa, crazy concept, But yeah, no, it's fun to just kind of mess around and play for fun, and mess around with the boys versus always just trying to go for rank 1, because that's I mean, I know for you too, that was what we lived and breathed for over a decade. It was just farming rank 1 titles. So it's really cool to like branch out and do other stuff.
Yeah, like because like at some point you're like, okay, I'm going for another rank 1. Like, who's the heaviest person I can carry? And like at some point, like people also like gamers have been improving. So it's like the people that you try to carry now are just not gonna. It's not gonna be the same. You're not gonna get the same kind of workout that we used to do back in the day. So where's the challenge in that as well, right? So at some point, it is nice to just kind of branch out. Then you've been doing a lot of classic content. Hardcore especially has been like really good for you. How do you feel about retail WoW right now?
I am not a retail hater. A lot of people always try to push me to like hate on retail and be like, the game sucks. Yeah. And like, I'm not going to be that guy. I like retail for what it is, and it offers something unique. What retail is going for is it has a competitive flow to it. You have Mythic Plus to actually grind at endgame. You have arenas to grind at endgame. You have solo shuffles or battlegrounds, to grind at endgame. You have new content coming out, new raids, and I think within that, it offers something for people to play at max, and offers a really good endgame experience. Maybe not really good, but it offers a unique endgame experience. And with Classic, it's kind of the opposite. You have a really fun community vibe. You have a really awesome leveling experience that like takes you through the entire world of Azeroth, and you can like be on foot and really feel the world like breathing, and it's just awesome. But when you hit max level, like let's be honest, you start to raid log, and it might kind of lose its vibe. And that, you know, so classic has its pros and cons, and I think retail has its pros and cons. And as I get older, I enjoy classic more and more and more and more. But I don't think that makes retail a bad game, and I don't think that makes retail just suck. I think it makes retail unique in what it offers.
Yeah, like for me, I mean, I actually really like the gameplay of retail. I love it. I get addicted to the gameplay. For me, it's just not a fun game to stream. I feel like the interaction level with the chat when you're completely locked in. Like, I don't know if you feel like this, but when I play retail, like streaming retail, like high level arena all time for like even 4 hours, I feel like drains me more than playing classic for like 12 hours, because it is more like kind of relaxed and more just chill. And you just have more time to talk to chat. You have more time to just do your thing on classic.
So
for me, man, I feel like it's a better game to stream. What do you feel about that?
So I'll actually, so I agree. I'll tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
I first, my garage door is going. I don't know if you can hear that. My first time playing classic hardcore wasn't necessarily because I planned it as a content idea. It was because rep pallies were super, super OP in arena. And this was, I don't even know, 3 years ago. They were super OP, and they could never die because they had insane off heals. So every game was going like 15 minutes, and they had like crazy AoE, and they couldn't like BCC'd or something, and they had crazy heals. So it's basically every second you're just slamming AoE for like 15 minutes until something died. And the result of that is I actually got a migraine. Like my head was pounding so hard because I did like a 12-hour arena session into like a 10-hour arena session or something, and my head was just pounding. My eyes hurt, my head hurt, and I didn't want to take a day off streaming. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play classic hardcore today because I thought it looked cool. I watched Goose who plays, I watched Savix play on YouTube, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play classic hardcore and just see, because it's gonna let me chill out. It's gonna be super easy and fun and relaxing versus so high stress. And I basically, since that day, haven't really gone back to retail arenas. It's been like a classic hardcore every day since, because I'm like, this is a vibe. It's so relaxing. You can hang out and just have fun all day. And I was like, this is amazing. And shortly after the arena season was ending, so I went back and got rank 1. And then since then, I haven't really played. And that's when I kind of found out my wife was pregnant. And
oh, shit.
Yeah, so I haven't told this story much, but basically, we'll call it a ZNN exclusive. No, I've actually told it before. Ooh. So it's like a half ZNN exclusive, but basically the concept is my wife was pregnant. I knew I didn't want to be sweating to rank 1 anymore and playing arenas till like 5 a.m. and grinding like I did for the last 12 years with a baby. It's just harder. And so anyway, I told my arena partners that I had something to tell them at the end of the Q session. And this was the couple nights before the end of the season. And we got our last win. We got rank 1. And I was like, all right, guys, that was my last game of arena I'm ever going to play at like a high level. And
damn,
it was a big deal, man. It was really emotional for me. And
that's bittersweet, man.
How
did they respond to that? How did they react to that?
I think immediately they didn't really believe me because, you know, everyone says they're quitting and stuff, but yeah. I knew I was pretty serious about it. It's been a little over 2 years, so I knew I was pretty serious. You know, having said that, I said, you know, if I feel like I want to come back, I will. Like I'm never like quitting. I'm never saying like I'll never ever do it again, but in terms of like the super sweaty, like trying to push for tournaments and rank 1s and this and that, like yeah, it's just something that I had a really fun time with. And it was, yeah. So anyway, that was 2 years ago. That was a really, really big deal. And since then I've just been loving having fun in the game and not trying to play and stress so hard. And yeah, it's been really awesome.
So at that point, were you playing Classic yet? Or was that even before you went over to Classic?
I was playing Classic. It was a few weeks in, I think. I can't remember the exact timeline, but it was probably like a few weeks into Classic. But it was something I kind of made up my mind when, like kind of right when my wife got pregnant. It was kind of like the big deciding factor, because I was like, I I knew something had to change with like I didn't want to just be like constantly grinding arenas with a family, because it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of work, you know, to be the best at anything. So yeah,
100%. So in terms of streaming, for me, because I was like an arena only guy as well, right? And for me, at the time when I started doing more classic related content, it was when classic was popping off. So it was like kind of okay, but it started to like have a bit of a dip, and people would occasionally actually very frequently come in and be like, oh, what is this? Go play arena. What are you doing? We want to watch arenas. And I was like, nah, man, I want to do my thing. I want to keep playing. And I took in the beginning, like a kind of a viewership dip, before I transitioned to classic, because, you know, a lot of the retail gamers wanted to watch retail. Did you experience that at all? And was it stressful if you did?
So right when I went to hardcore, my viewership stayed about the same. It might have dipped a little bit, but it kind of stayed about the same. And then I'd say about like 3 months in is when it started going up a lot. Or like maybe less, maybe like a month or two in is when it started going up a lot. And I think Peekaboo has probably a similar story, because I really tried to get Peekaboo on hardcore for the last 2 years. Yeah. I called him. I was like, bro, you have got, like off stream, I'm like, bro, you have got to play hardcore. It's so much fun, so much good content. Like, you're going to have a blast. But he tried it last year, and his viewers basically were like, this sucks, get on arena. And, you know, it's hard. It's stressful when people are saying like, you know, do this one thing, then you want to try something else. Anyway, I'm so happy Pika's on now, because his content with hardcore is amazing. Like what I like about Pika, bro, is like he's authentically like a noob at classic, right? Like he doesn't know anything about the game, but he's obviously a really good player, but he's going into it like blind. Like, I don't know what this does. Like, I talked to him about the Baron Geddon fight. He had no idea the damage increased. And he just got one tap. Like all these different moments are more magical when you don't know what's happening, right? When you have the game completely solved, I think it loses its magic a little bit. But when you're going into it fresh, it's fun, man. It's such a fun experience. So anyway, I'm glad he's loving it so much.
Yeah, no, I think that has been one of the beautiful things about OnlyFans, actually. Like, watching people, because, like, I have experienced the game, you know, and I have played the game, and, you know, so have you, I guess, to a certain degree, at least, like, non-hardcore. But it's still, like, it's, like, very contagious in a way when you see other people experience it for the first time. It's like, I don't know, it's like reliving it in a way through somebody else. It's like almost like being a parent, I guess. Like, did you ever see that clip of Tyler seeing Onyxia for the first time when he was like, oh my God, and you see like his heart rate goes up just from seeing Onyxia in the lair for the first time?
Yeah, I've seen that clip, and I agree 100%, bro. Seeing someone's excitement is like, reminds me of when I first saw like Ironforge, or walking through or like tamed my first pet as a hunter or something, or, you know, got my first shatter combo as a mage or something like that. It's like, oh man, it's such a magical game, right? And yeah, seeing other people experience that is really rad.
Yeah, I love it. Like seeing Sunglitters like get her cape of Ragnaros. Man, that was such a I swear. It's just like, because we all felt like that at some point. Like even if getting an upgrade isn't as exciting for me right now, seeing like how other people feel about it is it's just amazing. I really love it. And that's something that OnlyFans has brought in, and that's something that you know, like you mentioned, like you get to see it on Pika stream all the time, like when he does a Makora for the first time, or you know, when he's playing a new class, or when he gets you know, I don't know, he didn't get that Lionheart helmet sadly, but when he gets other pieces of gear, it's fucking amazing. And that's the magic about WoW, right? And it's kind of crazy to think about that the most popular version of an MMO right now on Twitch in general is hardcore WoW. Like it's a 20-year-old game. What do you think that is?
I think it's definitely multifaceted, but like viewing. So my wife has never played WoW, and when she watches hardcore, she can kind of understand what's going on. Like, okay, there's your health bar. Okay, you're not dead yet. Okay, now your health bar is going down, and oh my gosh, now you could die, right? And when she watches retail, she has no idea what's happening, no clue. So she just, you know, instantly tunes out. Like it just nothing nothing there for her. And that's coming from someone who hasn't played. So I think if you blow that up to like a much larger view, it's a lot more watchable for people on Twitch, and it's a lot more like consumable. It's like, okay, you're following a character's journey, and you're trying to follow along to see if they survive or not. And if they die, it's really bad. And if they live, then it's awesome, and you can just kind of relax along the way. And I think it makes for like a really great, exciting like storyline, and it's just a really fun, exciting experience for the streamer and for the viewers. And yeah, it's really cool. I still I still would say I'm pretty shocked, just like you, that in 2025, classic hardcore has more viewership than Race to World First. It has more viewership than the launch of War Within. And I'm sure Blizzard is kind of scratching their heads a little too, like, wow, we're putting in, you know, millions of dollars into these expansion packs and regular content releases and this and that, and more people want to watch this. Like, I'm sure Blizzard's like, wait, what? WTF? Right? It's wild. It's definitely wild. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think it is that nobody else has kind of been able to kind of replicate what classic WoW is? Because there has been other MMOs, like, I don't know if you ever played the like WildStar or Ashes of Creation, or like, have you played other MMOs?
I played a lot of New World when it came out. I have.
Oh yeah, New World.
Yeah, maybe almost 1,000 hours, 900 hours in the game. It's really, I really enjoyed it. And then I never played WildStar. I've maybe played like a few here and there. I haven't tried Ashes yet. I played Lost Ark when it came out for a few months. I thought that was okay too. I think WoW, I feel like there's a few things. I think one of the biggest things is the movement is very snappy. When you log into another MMO, the first thing I do, I don't know about you, but the first thing I do is like I move left and right, back and forth, and like spin the camera. And I just want to see how buttery is the movement, because that's really a big deal if you're going to spend so much time on a game. And WoW has the smoothest movement by a mile between any other MMO I've played. And I liked New World a lot, but even New World, there's like a slight input delay. It's like a little bit of inertia. So if you go left and then you want to go right, your character like breaks for like half a second. And I think it's called like a feature, because they did it that way on purpose, but it's just, WoW feels so snappy. But then the world is also just so, I actually go back and forth. Is World of Warcraft genius in its design, or was it like a beautiful mistake, right? Because there's so many things with the quests and the dungeons and the gearing and the power of different classes in different ways. It almost feels like it was a big accident that it's so great. But then part of me thinks like, oh, maybe those original devs were just incredibly passionate about something, and they built something beautiful that is really hard to mimic, because in that era, you know, those devs were just like really, really wanting to build something special. So I don't know. I go back and forth, and the answer is it's probably a mix of both, right?
Yeah. That I think you kind of hit the nail on its head. I think there's some parts of the game that is just like, it kind of is an accident, but it turned out that way. But I think another part of it is definitely like, it's by design, right? And I think you mentioned it there a little bit too. Like the progression feels so good, especially in older version of WoW. Like the progression is just amazing. Like going from like having a regular weapon to like unlocking Whirlwind Axe, for example, it just, you can immediately feel like, oh my God, I am so much stronger right now. Like this is sick.
Well, I mean,
I think that
even, sorry to interrupt, but like I agree so much. Like even with like Warrior, like at level 30 with sweeping strikes, it's a big deal. Like, you can really feel the difference. Then at 40, when you get like your mount and Mortal Strike, it's something to really look forward to. Like at 20, to do Dead Mines and get like a staff like the Crescent Staff, or the Staff of Westfall is really, really a big deal. Like, so you have these power spikes that are consistent. They're spread apart, but they're consistent enough to get you really excited to want to keep playing. And there's gameplay loops that are incredibly enjoyable. Like the gameplay loop of a Frost Mage shatter comboing or AoE grinding. It doesn't get old. Like every time you shatter combo, it's like, wow, that's just one shot that guy gets smoked. And then like on a Warrior, if you sweeping strikes Whirlwind, it's like the numbers flying up the screen. Like it doesn't get old, right? And there's like these gameplay loops, like on Rogue, the Adrenaline Rush with Blade Flurry. Like your DPS goes wild, right? And I think having these really addictive gameplay loops with these really exciting things at different level spikes or at level points, like level 20, 30, 40, I'd say late 50s, sometimes people say gets a bit boring. But then at 60 with the, pre-bis grind and the attunements, it's just beautiful. So yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, no, like the progression is, I think, a big part of it. I think it's a mixture of like the entire like feeling of this big social sandbox thing, and also the way the quests are structured as well. Like certain quests, you have to be in a group to do them, and there's a lot of points in the game where they kind of force you to interact with other players, like getting enchants, getting certain things, like grouping for dungeons. There's a lot of like natural ways where they are encouraging you to play with other people, and I think that's one of the best things about the game as well. Plus the progression, right? So I think like that part is for sure like intentionally designed to be that way, and I think it's a huge success. It's a big recipe for success, and I think that's one thing that I feel like retail is very different in. Is just it feels like a solo ARPG sometimes.
Dude, I was just talking to
more competitive.
I was just talking to a retail dev and a few months ago, an old retail dev. I'll keep him anonymous, but he said that like retail is basically an ARPG now. It's not an MMO anymore. And and that's not a bad thing. ARPGs are wildly successful as well, and they're really fun, and they're really addicting. It's not a bad thing at all. But it's basically like an ARPG now. It's not an MMO. And what you mean by that is like a lot of hack and slashing, a lot of numbers, a lot of dopamine spamming up the screen, and you're spamming the same like mythic pluses or raids to try to get the loot. And yeah, like that's not bad. I think classic WoW definitely has a much different approach to the excitement. It's this like slow build, a slow journey. Shoot, I was gonna say something else about classic enjoyment, but I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, no, retail definitely a different appeal, and I think the appeal to ARPGs is there. It's just a different appeal than an old school MMO, and I always try to be very clear about that, because people always think like, oh, retail sucks, classic is goated, or vice versa. It's like, well, no, they're just different and offer different things.
Yeah, it's very polarizing, like the two player bases. I feel like the people who like retail, they like kind of only like retail, and the people who like classic kind of only like classic as well. So I mean, there's obviously some overlap, but I feel like a large portion of the community is like that. I guess that is because the game has slowly over the years just taken, I guess, a more like modern approach to the gameplay element, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's just different, right? Are you going to be playing the next retail expansion?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll be checking out like pretty much anything novel. Like I was really excited about Delves. I was really excited about like any like new retail feature. It's definitely something I'll want to check out. Like even player housing, I might hop on and check it out.
Player housing.
Yeah, like I don't know. I want to play retail as a variety game. Like one of the games that I'm wanting to play, but I don't want to treat retail as like the only game I'm playing, how I basically always used to. So
yeah,
it
makes sense. So on the topic of ARPGs, have you been checking out the Path of Exile at all?
I haven't tried it. No, I was just too deep in what was it? Hardcore? Yeah, I guess hardcore.
Yeah.
How about you?
Is that? I played it a little bit, and I felt like it was amazing. Like I feel like this is a game I could easily like see myself kind of going hard at. Do you think it's something that you want to try out in the future? Did you play Diablo 4 at all?
I played Diablo 3. I didn't play Diablo 4. I struggle with top-down games, like isometric style games, click to move. I feel like it's harder for me to get really immersed versus like being my character and moving with I move with QWE, but AWD or whatever, like moving with the keyboard and mouse. It just feels so much more like I'm playing my character. Maybe that's like a totally boomer take, but I feel like click to move is just like, it just feels off. Like, I don't know, even with like League of Legends or any of these top-down style games, it's hard for me to get into it. But I wouldn't say it's bad. I'd say that's more of a personal problem.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just different, right? It's like the same for me. I struggle a little bit with shooter games, so I mean, I still kind of have fun playing them, but it's not like my go-to maybe. So yeah, I can see that. It's kind of like similar, but for a different genre for you. But yeah, no, I think PoE 2 is actually going to be like the next big hitter when it comes out. I think it's actually going to be a big success.
Oh, that's sweet. Maybe I'll have to check it out. And chat's saying I can keybind QWES or whatever in PoE. You can. Okay, so that would actually make it probably way more fun for me. Yep. Can you jump in the game or no? Probably not.
I don't remember actually. I didn't play that many hours. I played like
no. You can jump.
I want to say like 6 hours or something.
I feel like not being able to jump is a super big turnoff for me. Makes my character feel glued to the floor, and it makes it still feel isometric. I want to be able to jump and move and turn and like be my character. I think if I could like control my character like a WoW character and be able to jump and move and twist and whatever, like I think that'd be awesome. But yeah, no, I kind of agree. I think it's a big thing, like limiting the movement a little bit. But I feel like those games, like if you like progression, I think it's a great game for that. Cool. So I really like that. But yeah, other MMOs coming out on the horizon is obviously the Riot MMO. I think the Riot MMO is I'm very excited for it if it ever comes out. I mean, they said it's still in development. They said they're still working on it, but I don't know. I think it's going to be the next kind of big MMO. So I'm personally very excited for that. How do you feel about the Riot MMO? Is that something that you want to check out? I'd say, yeah, it's probably like the biggest threat to the Warcraft franchise, or I guess just World of Warcraft. Like, I think there's nothing else that has come. Like, the thing about Riot is they have a track record of being able to find a game, mimic it, and do it really well. So, for example, League of Legends, right? Like, Dota was first, but they made League of Legends like wildly successful, even though they were not first to market. They had a really good track record of being able to mimic something and actually do it really well. And they did it again with Valorant. Obviously, there's Counter-Strike that was first, and then Overwatch and other similar games. They were not first, but Valorant still like a really good game, right? And they did it again with Team Fight Tactics, TFT. With not being like necessarily the first, but they had like a pretty good spin-off of it, and then maybe even another one. I can't really remember, but I think if anyone's gonna do it, if anyone's actually gonna do it and kill WoW, or at least not kill WoW, but at least have like a good chance to do well, I think it's gonna be Riot. I think it's really hard to compete, but I think Riot would be the one to do it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So do you think Blizzard needs a little bit of competition to kind of do their thing? Do you think maybe they're getting a bit comfortable with being the kind of the kings of the MMO genre? Oh
yeah, I mean totally. Like one of the things I learned in business school was competition breeds innovation, and I think if you have a market that doesn't allow for competition and it's just one person at the top forever and there's no competition, I think it's really bad. I think having, even if it's not 100% better, I think having some level of competition is going to make both products better. So if Blizzard is the only MMO in the space, and obviously the barriers to entry are relatively high, but if there's more competitors in the space, I think we'll all get a better product. All the gamers playing either the Riot MMO or the WoW MMO will get a better product because it'll force this innovation. So yeah, I'm really excited for the Riot MMO. Even if it doesn't kill WoW, I think WoW will be better for it, and I think the Riot MMO will be better for it. So I think it's just going to be a win-win for everyone, and especially for gamers.
Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty smart. I kind of agree with that as well. I think having some competition is going to be good for all of us because, I wouldn't say like Blizzard is doing a bad job, but it is easy to kind of get a little bit too comfortable when you've been ruling the genre for as long as they have. So you said you went to business school. I didn't actually know that about you. What was that like? Is that like, you did that obviously before streaming? What was your plan before streaming?
No, so I went to college. I went to university from 2012 to 2016. So I was streaming in school, and that was that was an experience. I went to class as much as I could while still streaming like 50, 60 hours a week, sometimes a bit more.
Shit.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal. But I was pretty much single. I was in a relationship for a bit there, but some college I was single and I didn't have a family or anything, and I wasn't working out more towards that to like the end of college. So like my free time was just vacant. Like I didn't do anything socializing wise. I did nothing IRL wise. No like GF stuff. Yeah. I literally just like went to class, slept, and streamed. Like that was basically it. But yeah, I somehow made it work and graduated in 2016, and it was cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much I learned, right? Like it's just more like I think college is like you go to a university for 4 years, you pay your tuition, and it kind of proves to employers that you can like stick to something for 4 years more than like anything. And you know, I guess I have that, but I don't know how much besides that.
But how was that though? Like streaming and also going to school at the same time. Like, when did you decide that okay, I'm not gonna pursue my career path with business school? I guess you graduated, right? Did you say that? Yeah. So you finished off, and then instead of taking the next step in that direction, you decided to full send it on streaming. What was that like? Like what triggered you to do that?
So yeah, I graduated in 2016. My stream was tiny. I, was definitely making like way less than minimum wage at that time. I think I had like maybe 150 subs. So probably making, less than like 1,000 or 2 a month or something. And it was basically like, I told myself I would give myself some time. I said, if I am going to ever make it in streaming, it's going to be a lot easier now since I already have a stream and I already have a platform and I'm single. I was in a relationship, but I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. Like, that's what I meant by single. Yeah. And I don't have a house. I don't have like a crazy car payment. And like, if I'm going to go all in on something, I actually could do it now. And if I fail, I can at least say I tried, and then I still have my degree and I can get a job in 6 months or a year or two. So I told myself, okay, I'll live way below my means. I'll basically live on eggs and beans and rice. I won't have a nice car or a nice apartment. I'll basically get like the cheapest of absolutely everything and just survive off of like $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month.
Damn.
And just try to like not buy anything at all ever, period. And then if I fail, then at least I can say I tried. And then I can move on with my life. But I had to try my hardest. And if I succeeded, then I have a really cool job that I was really excited about. And that was basically the choice I made in 2016. And it took many years. I think my stream always grew, I guess, but it took many years to get into the flow of where I was like, oh, wow, this paid off. And there was one moment in particular where I actually I got really emotional on stream. Is when I hit 1,000 subs, because I remember like my family and my grandma were like, what are you doing? You have a degree and like you're like, is this worth it? And I was like, it made me kind of second guess if I was doing the right thing. And I think when I hit 1,000 subs, it made me realize like it was worth it. It was worth it. It all paid off kind of, and that was a really big moment for me. And that was not for many years after that.
Man, I'm getting emotional just listening to this. You have no idea how hard I can also relate to what you're saying, because I went through like a similar thing, like a little bit different timeline, but I all of those same struggles. I went through the same kind of, similar, not the same. I had to, I grew up in a family where it was just my single mom. Like my dad was not in the picture, and it was a big family. We lived on welfare in Sweden, so we didn't have a lot of money going for us. And I always had to like figure out ways to like hustle, to make my own money, because I didn't want to be a burden. And like I come from an Egyptian culture, so for me it's like, oh yeah, you're supposed to be the man of the house. You're supposed to provide. And I was also the youngest out of my siblings, so for me it was like, I had to figure out ways to do that. Now, like back then, like, it was like a lot of boosting. It was a lot of different ways you could do that, like RMTing and shit like that. So I did, stuff like that. And then I also did school at the same time while, being a WoW gamer. And I played WoW, and I started streaming a bit before you did. So I finished elementary school, and then I finished high school. And then in Sweden, we have it's called gymnasium. It's I guess it's like college in the US. And then after that, you apply to university. And at that point, I was a pretty successful streamer in terms of viewership. But I guess back then, streaming didn't really, making money off of ads wasn't like a thing. You didn't have these big ad revenues similar to what we have today. Even subscribing wasn't, I would say, that important or that popular. When I started streaming, it wasn't even on Twitch, so none of those things existed. You couldn't even have a donation button like on Xfire where I started. So for me, I also took that same risk where it's okay, I could just apply to university now and use my degrees to get to the next level, but I want to try it. I want to see, I don't want to regret not trying, because this is my passion, this is my dream, to do content creation and to make people laugh and to play professional video games or whatever. So for me, I had the exact same thing, and in the start it was rocky. It was definitely rocky. So I can kind of also relate to that, where you have to kind of take that risk no matter what, and just live a very humble life until the point where you can make it. So I really appreciate you sharing that. That was damn, man, that hit me right in the feels, dude.
Yeah, it sounds like we both had a very, very similar journey there. I think it's important to talk about, I think, because a lot of people think oh, these streamers have, billionaire, whatever, streamer, millionaire streamers, blah, blah, blah. But I think the reality is, me and you both know this, right? Most Twitch partners, or maybe I shouldn't say most, but a lot of Twitch partners are making significantly less than minimum wage, right? A lot of my friends, a lot of people you probably know, putting in 8, 10, 12-hour streams and making way less than they would if they were at fast food, right? Legit. And it's yeah, well, they are playing games, so it's not boohoo for them, because they could do it, but that's just the reality. That's just the reality. So yeah, that's how it was early on, for sure. So
yeah, no, it was completely different back then too. The meta has changed so much in terms of streaming. I feel nowadays people see the success of streamers, right? And I think that inspires a lot of new guys to get into the game and try it and try to do their luck with streaming. And I think that's also what has caused the content to kind of shift as well. But back then, most of the money that you made, at least for me, was through donations. And now I would say donations is bottom damn every time, or in the logs, Yep.
It's back. It was. I think it was really stressful though when you were trying to go live and your only income source was donations. It was really scary to be okay, so if I want to pay my rent this month, I have to try to make sure that someone donates. It was an incredibly stressful way to live. And I definitely prefer it much better now. It's you have some type of consistency, because that was scary. You go a month or two with no donations, and it's well, crap. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but breaking news. Apparently Tyler just went live in the WoW section. Ooh. Crazy breaking news. Maybe he just has his section set, but maybe the mob tagging thing enticed Tyler to level again. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not saying that's real. I'm just saying maybe mob tagging Tyler back. Who knows?
Oh shit. That could be it, dude. That could be it. I hope so, man. I really hope he goes again. We need him back, bro. I'm telling you. It's do you feel like that as well when you die? Last time I died, I was all right, I'm taking a day off, and I said it on my stream, because immediately people ask you, are you gonna go again? And I was yeah, I'm gonna go again. But deep down, I was fuck, I'm not sure if I'm going again, man. It fucking sucks. I have to AOE farm for a week now. Like content's gonna be ass. Like what am I gonna do? You know. Do you feel like that as well? Like anytime you die, you're like you like second guess almost a bit if you're gonna go again. But then when you had some chance to sleep on it a little bit, you kind of feel like the second wind procking.
Okay, here's how I feel. I'm really glad you asked this. Every time I die, I feel the same way as you. My content is gonna suck for a good week or 2 or 3 or whatever until I get to the higher levels where it's fun, like 30, 40, 50 in an end game. But like like when you start a new character, the content is awful for a while, and then people come in the chat, the chatters say, oh, died for content, lol, and I'm just like, brother, if you only knew that dying is the worst possible thing you could ever do for content, because now you have to start at level 1 and you're screwed. Like, I think every streamer knows this, right? Like, there was no way you would ever want to die for content, but all the viewers don't get it because they're like, oh, well, it clearly died for content. It's like, oh god. Anyway, sorry, I went on a little tangent there.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt y'all, but I gotta leave in 10 minutes. Did you still need this package, Xaryu?
I'll Cobalt, thank you so much. How long are you gone for? Just like an hour or 2?
Yeah, it's gonna be probably like 2 hours minimum.
Maybe just when you're back, that'll work. If that's cool with you.
Wait, what kind of package are we talking here?
Is it unannounced package.
Unannounced package. Shit, is it a heavy package?
It should be like a medium weight package.
Oh shit!
Probably like 5-10 pounds.
Oh shit! 5-10 pound package. Damn. Cobalt's packing the package. God damn, bro. W Cobalt.
Yeah, Cobalt. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I'll chat with you in a bit.
Yeah, later.
All right, later, Cobalt.
Oh man. All right.
Oh shit! That is insane. I love that. No, I think that a lot of people see this. Oh, he died, and his clip has 100K views when he died. He died for content, but it's like that doesn't really translate into anything.
Yeah,
like having you don't get paid for. Do you even get paid on Twitch if you have like a clip with a lot of views? I don't think so. There's no ad that you watch before the clip, right?
To my knowledge, no. It would just be exposure, I guess. I mean, like just to play devil's advocate to my own point. Dying, if you have no name at all and you have like the craziest death, like I'm thinking you have a death like Aussie Falls where he like fell at level 59 on my stream and kind of like started his career. It's like, okay, sure, yeah, in some sense, like it could, I guess, put you on the map. Or like Guzu Hole, like that Guzu death where he got knocked into the hole in Sunken Temple. Like, okay, crazy deaths like that where everyone watches and it puts you on the map, like sure. But like on average, no, dying sucks, and no streamer would die on purpose to like if you already have something going, like it's just worse for content on every angle. So yeah, anyway, the dying for content, I know most of it's a meme, but for people that want to understand it deeper, it's like, no, I don't think anyone would do that, like, because it clearly just sucks.
Yeah, no, 100%. Especially like for you, you wanted to obviously make the first raid, right? And then you had to like kind of kick up the gears, and you like barely even made it. Did you feel like that time pressure when you were leveling? Like, shit, I can't be taking my time. I can't be doing my thing and just relax now. I have to like lock the fuck in and get the shit done ASAP.
Yeah. So dude, right when I died, the clip was like, the reason I was so sad that I died, by the way, is because I knew I wouldn't make raid, because the raid at that point was scheduled mid-January, and I was like, crap, I won't make it. So I'm heartbroken. I missed last year's raid because my son was being born, and well, that was the best day of my life, so I can't really be mad about that. But I was really wanted to go this year because I missed last year, and I died at 59, and I'm just like, bro. And then, dude, you want to know what made it worse? People said I died for content, and I'm like, brother, like, what? Why would I ever? Anyway, yeah, no, it really sucked. But then the raid got delayed. So I talked to my wife, and I was like, yo, look, like I did the math. I was like, I told her, I was like, I can actually make the raid if I play like 12 hours a day for the next 2.5 weeks. And she's like, you know what? Like, I support you if you wanna grind it out. So I basically got the green light. Yeah, W-Wife. She carries hard on the daily. So basically what ended up happening is I went 12 hours a day for 2.5 weeks, and we got it done. We made it to 60 and a tune like a day or two before. And I was so happy I made it, man. But yeah, now I'm definitely trying to get back to my normal schedule of only 8 hours a day. So that's what's
Only.
Yeah.
Casual streaming schedule. Now, so on the topic of your wife, can I ask, how did you guys meet? Like, what is it? Is there a story there?
We met at the gym. Okay. Totally, completely lucky, God sent kind of a thing, like right place, right time. Because how do you ever meet someone at a gym? You know, like how does that ever actually realistically ever happen? And I don't know. I think it was really just meant to be, because I went up and talked to her, and like I was with my roommate at the time. I had a roommate, and we were at the gym, and I talked to Shannon for 5 minutes, and right after I talked to her for the first time ever, we were in the locker room after, my roommate and I told him, I said, this is the girl I'm gonna marry, like right away.
Really?
Yeah.
You just knew instantly?
Insta. I was like, this is 100%. Yeah. And then I didn't actually get her number. I didn't like know who, like I didn't really like know anything, like I didn't know how to find her. So then it became this like running joke of like, how am I actually going to find her? And I didn't see her again for 6 months. So like every day I was just like, because later I learned she was on a trip to the Dominican Republic, and she was just completely out of country. And I was like looking for her every day at the gym, like, where is she? Like, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I saw her again like 6 months later, 8 months later or something, and then it kind of like picked up where it left off, conversation, and you know, we were friends for a bit, and then we you know, it just kind of worked out. So yeah, crazy lucky kind of situation, and it's meant to be. I think. Did
you almost give up there, when you didn't see her for 6 months?
No, I
think like maybe she swapped gym or something.
No, I kind of always knew that it was gonna work out. I don't know how or why, but my roommate would always tease me. He would go, "Oh, that's Shannon over there," and like point to like some random girl. And like he would tease me for like the whole time. He was trolling me, teasing me, and like telling me this and that. And then it's like, no, that's not her. And then like one day she actually was at the gym like 6 months later, and he would always make fun of me because he's like, you should have got her number, you dumbass. You know? Like, and I'm like, no, I didn't want to like come off too strong or anything. Like, no, if it's meant to be, like the way I thought about it was this, Zico, like if it was meant to be, then I didn't have to like go out of my way to like force anything. I didn't have to force it. If it was meant to be, it was going to happen. Right. And I was like, I truly felt like this was my wife. It was just the timing. I was like, well, we'll just see. And then like 6 months later, she was there. We talked again, and then, you know, the rest is history. So it's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, damn, dude. That's a crazy story. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it worked out. That's amazing, man. I'm super happy to hear that. That's fucking wild, man.
It is wild looking back. When I look back, it's not logical at all. When I look back, it's like weird and dumb, or like WTF, how did that, like, lucky, right? But in the moment, it felt like everything was just right, you know? But looking back, I'm like, what the heck?
That's crazy.
How long have you guys been married? We've been married almost 3 years, and then we were engaged for I think like 2.5, and then we dated for a year and a half before that. Yeah, it's been a minute now. I think like 5-6 years being together all around, but only married for 3. Yeah, then we had my son is 15 months, so a year and a couple months.
That's fucking sick, dude. Damn. What a journey, man. What a journey. Yeah, I see the breaking news, bro.
Yeah, breaking news in the chat going crazy. So I don't know if ZNN's covering that right now.
Yeah, I might have to dip and see what the hell is going on. I'm getting messages all over the place. Apparently I'm being called a pirate software or something like that. I'm not sure.
Dude, I think everyone is getting called that. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, I guess we'll see shortly here.
All right, let's see here. The allegations.
All right, well, I'm gonna bounce too, but yeah, let me know what you find. I'll be tuning into the ZNN, of course, and GG's, man. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, thank you too, man. This was a really I love this interview, bro. It was awesome. I feel like I really got to know you like better. Like I already knew you obviously because you know we've been around for a long time, but this was I really like this, man. Thank you so much for the talk.
Thanks for having me on, and likewise, man. I feel the exact same. What a cool thing. I thought we were just gonna talk about like the parent getting thing, and it turned into this really cool conversation. So thanks, man.
Yeah, GG's, dude.
GG's.
All right, I'll see you later, bro.
See you, Z. Wow, chat, what the heck was that? Out of nowhere, we just had this like really awesome, like cool experience, like cool heart to heart, like really fun conversation. Oh my goodness. That was really cool, man.